You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers today, but we got Kyle and Madison.
Hey, what's up, man? Kyle from Madison. How are you?
What's up?
Well, that sucks. I'll tell you what. I don't usually do the whole I got a bad feeling thing, but I think it was Wednesday when I heard, I believe it was Rasheed Walker, somebody in the locker room started talking about an undefeated season. And I started thinking, oh, geez, we're going to lose this game. And then I'm certainly not blaming you, and I also don't subscribe to the whole, fan being overconfident means the team's going to lose thing. But, I could just feel like everybody was way too confident. And it just kind of mirrors, I think, the locker room sometimes. And holy crap, what a disaster. I think what makes it even worse, though, is I still believe this team has all the talent that they need probably to win the whole thing. Certainly on defense. And they did. I mean, what if Flaw doesn't throw a pick there, what they give up? 6 points? I mean, give me a break. I don't care who you're playing against. You get 6 points, you better win the damn game. But man, we got to start running the ball. You can't win in this league unless you can run the damn ball. I thought Love played, I don't know, I give him a 6 out of 10 up until that pick, which is just unforgivable. But up until that point, I thought he was doing okay, considering he had literally from the first play no time, couldn't run the ball. I mean, that was just a joke. And then, man, I couldn't for the life of me understand why we didn't change what we were trying to do. We just kept pushing that ball down the field, and there was just no time to do it. And I don't know because I haven't seen the film, but it certainly seems like the receivers left a lot to be desired in that game. I don't know if they were missing Reed or what, but man, it didn't seem like those guys were getting open, but maybe they were. Maybe, I don't know. But holy crap, man. And just, I had a feeling all week, but then from the start of that game, man, it just felt like, ooh, I don't like it. Every 50-50 thing was just not going our way. And the calls started coming in. They were terrible. Just everything went wrong. Oh. So we'll see, man. We're going to have a pissed off pissed off Cowboys team because they lost to the Bears, which just makes the suffering even worse this week. It's going to be a tough game in Dallas. I just hope that the guys can get their heads out of their asses now and realize what it's going to take to win in this league. You don't get any weeks off no matter who you're playing. All right, talk to you.
Well, it's just the offense. I mean, it's just block. Just block. Nothing wrong with Jordan. Nothing wrong with the receivers. There's nothing wrong with our entire defense. There's nothing wrong with anything. Block the frickin' block. Just block. If you can block, then our quarterback has time. If you can block, we can run the ball. If we can run the ball and our quarterback has time, everything's going to be fine. They couldn't block. Run the ball. We can't because they can't block. Can't get open. Well, again, based on what I said yesterday, I never really saw an opportunity for a receiver to get open. I mean, it's hard to say what the heck I saw on a video, but you look at the way that they're running a route, and it's like I don't know what you're supposed to do there. You know, I mean, we can say you need to get open, but when you're running an in toward the middle of the field and there's defenders on the middle of the field, there's no receiver in the NFL that's going to get open in that situation. A lot of times receivers do get open, and it's not to their credit either. They're just running where the route tells them to run, and there's no defenders there. That's Matt LaFleur's job. There might be instances where it's man coverage and you need to shake somebody, but I don't think I really ever saw that instance. Even when it was in man coverage, you're still running toward other defenders, right? You beat a guy in man coverage and you're running toward where the other safety is who picks it up, and so you're double covered and there's nothing there. So, you know, again, I mean, it was a catastrophic performance by the offensive line. I don't know what the heck happened. Again, I wanted to blame it on the snap count thing, which had been identified again, and they were doing it, but I never saw, like, as soon as he lifted his head, somebody jumped so that when the ball was snapped, the guy was already in our backfield kind of thing. I never saw that. They seemed to jump off the line at a normal, reasonable time, and our guys just couldn't block it. So I'm back to thinking, well, I don't know. I don't understand it. I can't just sit here and say, well, our offensive line is bad, because our offensive line is actually quite good. And I can't just sit here and say, well, it's because of the injuries. Okay, then why can't Elton Jenkins block? Why can't Sean Ryan suddenly block? Why can't Rasheed Walker block? Why? They're not injured. They're perfectly fine. I don't know. I don't have any answers. I think chalking it up to some kind of superstitious thing is about as good an answer as anything else that I can think of. Because, like I said, every single thing went wrong. The calls went wrong. Flacco suddenly started playing like a god, which never happens. I mean, you look at the rest of the NFC North games. Yes, Rasheed Walker cursed us. That's all I can. I can't think of a better explanation. I've seen a lot of people wanting to piss and moan and talk about a whole lot of stuff. Those answers don't make any sense. Well, Matt LaFleur never gets his team ready. It's not true. It's not true. Do you know how often these things happen? Almost never. Again, all of last year, what was the complaint? They can beat everybody except the good teams. Suddenly this year we lose to a not good team and it's like, oh, this happens all the time. Every year is the same thing. What are you talking about? It literally didn't happen one time last year. Yeah, well, if you go back like 2 years, there was that one game. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sure we're the only team that once every 2 years they lose to a team that they're supposed to win to. What are you talking about? We got people screaming that Jordan Love is garbage and he's trash, and Brett Favre never threw an interception that bad. And I mean, just the amount of stupid takes. It's like people get angry that something happened, and rather than trying to figure out what happened, rather than maybe chalking it up to, I don't know, sometimes stuff happens, rather than trying to either say, I don't know, or have some kind of a rational take, we have to just, whatever comes to my mind, the most insane thing, that's just the truth now. That's just what I believe. That's the absolute truth. And we just start rambling. You just hear some of the dumbest crap ever. Can we just stop that? I'm not talking about you, because again, curses are about as good as any other explanation. But some of the stuff is so unbelievably stupid. Just the anger toward, this thing or this, the proof that so-and-so is not good, and it's so stupid because 5 seconds ago we're the best team in football. Matt LaFleur is a genius, and we do this every year. Matt LaFleur's a genius. And then one bad game, he becomes the worst coach in football. And it's not just the Packer fans, it's the entire national media. Brian Gutekunst is a genius, and then he's a freaking loser. And it's like, you guys are embarrassing. It's embarrassing what you guys are doing. Knock it off. It's 1 week of football. Stuff happens, and sometimes there's no answer. Because they're human. Again, this is not Madden. These are human beings. Sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad days, and it's hard to explain, especially on a sport where you exert yourself in a unbelievable way. I had last week, I went to my class, and I could not for the life of me perform. I couldn't get my breath. I couldn't do anything. It was like day one all over again. Like I couldn't function. And the only thing I could think is I got like 4 hours of sleep that night. Everything else was normal. My daily routine, like when I got up, what I was eating, all that stuff was normal, but I got like 4 hours of sleep. It wrecked me. This isn't Madden where Rasheed Walker has a 78 grade, and so he performs at a 78 every single time. And so if you see him play at a 42, well, then he's just a 42. He must just be terrible. Everything's terrible. There's a reason the best teams don't go undefeated every year. And the worst teams don't go winless every year. The worst team is going to win games. The best team is going to lose games. In fact, what team is the best and the worst is going to change throughout the season because it's not Madden. Things change from week to week. Sometimes people have good days and bad days and great days and awful days. Now, this offensive line thing is certainly unique to the point where something happened. Whether it's them jumping our count or the guys, somebody pulled the fire alarm or something. I don't know what happened, but something happened. Something doesn't make sense with the offensive line, but that's what happened. And it's happened one time in Matt LaFleur's entire tenure. So trying to drag that out as though, whoa, I guess we have a bad offensive line. Why? Why is that a thing now? Did you see this performance? Yes. Did you see the other two? Did you see the entire last year? Have you seen all of Green Bay Packers history up until this past week? Just insane. We need to play Dallas and we need to win because this is why I hate when we lose because the week is so insufferable. It's so miserable. Like the negative fans, I had Mr. Negative. I haven't talked about him in a while because I haven't heard from him in a while. I go pop on Facebook and sure enough, there he is. There he is. Where did he go? I didn't hear him all off season. I didn't hear from him when we won week 1 against the Lions. A great, amazing victory. Didn't hear one thing. We beat Washington. Unbelievable. Where is he? Nowhere. We lose to Cleveland. Boom, there he is. This is how negative fans operate. They just hide in the shadow. They're they are like Bears fans. They hide when the Packers are good. They don't want to talk about it because their entire worldview is suddenly just not correct. And so they're just like, oh, this is stupid, this is fake. And then as soon as they lose, see? Matt LaFleur's bad, Gutekunst's bad, Packers are bad, not a championship team. Ha, 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 ha. I told you, it has stupid, positive fans. Ha, ha. You believed in something. You had hope and joy. Ha, 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 ha. I hope you're miserable. I hope you hate your life right now. I hope you're as upset with your life as me. Good Lord. Oh, that felt good. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back.
All right, so I already called once. This is Bill at South Carolina. Everybody's crying about the leadership of Jordan Love. And one thing I think he needs to start doing is, if he's as smart as I think he is, he's got to start calling audibles when he knows that the play call from LaFleur is not going to work. I think sometimes we underestimate having a quarterback with knowledge like Aaron Rodgers was, when you know that the play is not going to work and you still run the play. I think if he had his druthers, he would have probably realized that pass wouldn't work because it was too crowded with all the defensive players right around the ball, that he would have switched to a run. And even if we didn't get it, we would get it a punt off. I think that's the biggest problem is we get thinking that Jordan Love is like Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, but even Brett Favre, it took him a while and it took Aaron Rodgers a while to start overriding the coach. And I think this is a perfect opportunity for Jordan Love to override the coach and call a different play. This is my thoughts. Bye.
Well, it's hard to say. I don't know. First of all, what is the other play that he's going to check to? And you can say run play. Would a run play have worked in that situation? I don't know. Did they have 8 men in the box on that play? I have no idea. I don't recall. Plus, again, theoretically, that play was supposed to work. The expectation was that a player on the field was supposed to do something else, and he didn't. So I don't know that there was anything to be read that, I don't know. The only other thing I would say is Rodgers changing plays, I think, was a terrible thing in this offense. He changed every single play all the time. It never allowed us to get into a rhythm. Matt LaFleur's entire offense is based on running certain plays and then running plays off of that. But if you never actually run those plays, now we don't have any kind of a, I don't want to say rhythm, but there's a process to how this works. We show you this, right? It's kind of like boxing. I'm going to hit you with the jab. I'm going to hit you with the jab. I'm going to feint the jab, and then I'm going to come across and hit you with a straight. If I didn't feint the jabs, it wouldn't have worked. Or like kickboxing, I'm throwing my hands to set up the kicks. If we're just throwing individual things every single time, you're not really setting anything up. Or it's like play action. It's like, we're going to run a play action play. Well, have you run the ball? No, we just run play actions all the time. No, you have to run the ball, then you run play action. And I think that was a massive detriment to have Rodgers constantly changing the play, because his whole thing was, well, I know what play would be better here. So he's like, okay, you run this route, and you run this route, and you do that, and you do that. And it didn't work. And I think the offense, especially toward the end there, really started to suck. So I think that there's maybe some, he does change the play a lot. I guess the critique would be, you wish that he had changed that particular play, which I guess we all do, because theoretically he wouldn't have thrown an interception if he would have run a different play. I think, if anything, my biggest critique is, why are we constantly running into loaded boxes? But I'm sure that they're told to, because if you just never run into a loaded box, then you're kind of tipping your hand all the time. You know what I mean? Anytime they're in this situation, it's a pass. And you sometimes just have to persist with these things. So I don't know that it's necessarily an intelligence thing. I think Matt LaFleur has a way that he wants his offense run, and I think it should be run that way. And if we're not going to do what Matt LaFleur wants to do, then he shouldn't be calling plays. But I don't really want to go back to having an Aaron Rodgers that is basically your offensive coordinator and his own play caller that just decides on a play-to-play basis what play he wants run. I didn't like that. I don't think it worked very well. And, again, up until this week, our offense, I think, has been working perfectly fine. This is a 1 week situation. I don't want to overreact to, now Jordan is no longer good enough because he doesn't know how to do what Rodgers used to do, which is read defenses or something. Guys, again, the thing that I don't want to do is invent things that weren't a problem, but suddenly occurred to us as being a problem in this game, and now extrapolate that out over the course of his entire career. It hasn't been an issue. And because it hasn't been an issue, it's not an issue. We're talking about one interception that happened. Rodgers threw interceptions. Brett Favre threw a billion interceptions. Every quarterback throws interceptions. Even the great Caleb Williams has thrown interceptions, believe it or not.
Yeah, one other thing, too. Man, we have the special teams penalties are insane right now. You'll have to tell me, but it felt like we were starting inside the 10-yard line the whole damn game. The whole damn game. I felt like we were just stuck there because of either bad decisions about like taking it out or fair catch or whatever, letting it bounce, or just horrid penalties. And it just killed, like, what was already hard for the offense, just made it even worse. And you could argue, even though Jordan threw just a terrible pick, but like them being backed up in that position to begin with, I believe was a direct result of some special teams penalty. Then obviously you've got the guy coming just off the corner on the field goal block. And then you know what the coup de grace, the cherry on top of the shit sundae was the fact that on that final field goal, did you notice, like, he made it, but did you notice there's a flag on us as well? I think we were offside. That made me just, because had he missed, they're going to move him up 5 yards. He gets to kick the damn thing again. That was the, like, just insult to injury for me, because it's like, I'm surprised that didn't happen, to be honest. The way that game went, I am surprised he didn't miss the first kick, and then they would have accepted the penalty, and then kick it again 5 yards closer and make it, just to maximize the suffering. I'm shocked. But, like, you want to talk about stuff you can't do. I mean, especially when, like, you could be starting on the 35 if you just play your cards right on special teams most of the time. Yeah, that just kills me. Like, how can there be that many freaking special teams penalties? The defense, man, I'm not going to say anything about the defense. I don't even care. But there's a couple ticky-tack penalties, and Parsons was offside. I don't even care. They were awesome. I don't care. That's a Super Bowl defense. I don't care what anybody says. That is a Super Bowl defense. The offense has got to get their heads out of their ass. And it's going to be interesting because, as far as I understand, the game plan against Dallas is probably going to be to go over the top on them because that's their weakness. And I just wonder if LaFleur is going to be too cute by half now because he got burnt trying to do that, or if the offensive line can't cover, if they're going to just start. I don't know how they're going to attack Dallas. Sometimes they overthink this stuff. I just wonder what the game plan is going to be because it should be to go over the top. I don't know if they can execute that. So it'll be an interesting week, won't it? Take care.
Well, again, and I'm not trying to be crabby. I think there's just a misalignment here because these calls are from Monday when people are freshly annoyed, and I am recording this on Thursday when I have become freshly annoyed with the complaining, which I'm sure is where a lot of you are at by now. I was at this stage on Monday, very upset, but it's nails on the chalkboard right now, so I'm trying to understand the situation. But again, we're looking at the standpoint of what are we going to do against Dallas because we can't execute the deep ball. That's all we've done all year. And also, I don't think that that's what they were really doing last week. They weren't trying to consistently push the ball down the field. They just, the short, the intermediate, and the deep passes were all covered up, and Jordan didn't have time to throw. That was one of the things I was looking for was, were we just trying to push the ball down the field? And the answer to that question from watching all the passing plays was no. Not that there weren't deep routes, but again, like most passing plays, there's not just one thing. That's why I get annoyed when people are like, oh, this offense is nothing but checkdowns. That's just what the play caller keeps calling. Bro, do you think just one guy runs a route? Like the guy that catches it is the only guy that runs a route? There's usually a deep option, intermediate options, and a check down option. Pretty much on every play, you're going to see some variant of that. And it's up to the quarterback to determine to take what the defense essentially gives you in that situation. So, yeah, I mean, if the offensive line is just like this forever, then our season's over. It doesn't matter. I mean, who cares what we do against Dallas? We're probably maybe beat Dallas, but we're not going to beat anybody else. I don't think we're going to beat Arizona. We're not going to beat Minnesota, Detroit, or Chicago. That's not going to happen. I mean, we're either going to operate from the standpoint of that was a fluke, in which case there's no issue executing a deep ball at all. I mean, first of all, Dallas doesn't really have a pass rush. And so that against our offensive line, which traditionally is very good, shouldn't really be a problem. But if Matt LaFleur doesn't know how to call plays anymore and our offensive line can't block anymore, then yeah, they can't. It's not just the deep ball; they can't execute anything. So I mean, I guess we got to determine what it is our basis is here. Are we just assuming that the offense is just garbage? In which case, I mean, the season's over. So what does it matter? If that was a fluke, then what are we worried about? You know what I mean? But I don't want to operate from the assumption that what we saw that 1 week, which we've never seen ever. I mean, I want to say in Matt LaFleur's tenure, but I don't remember ever seeing it ever, period, in my lifetime. It's kind of how I felt in that Chiefs game, I guess, with Jordan Love, where he was under pressure 24/7. But that was the Chiefs, and they love doing their cover zero while blitz nonsense. This was just sheer ineptitude. So, I mean, is that where we're coming from now? Is that what we think? Is that this is just the way it goes from now on, that our offensive line is not just the worst in the NFL, but like the worst in NFL history? And again, if not, then why would the deep ball be an issue? It should be a piece of cake like we did the first 2 weeks of the season.
Brian, how the heck are you?
Yo.
It sounds like you're not doing so good just listening to the pod. Listen to the After Dark this morning before work, listening to the other one on the way home. And, I mean, I get it. This is just it's a crappy loss. I mean, I wasn't, like, suicidal yesterday, and I'm less today. But, I mean, let's face it. They punched us in the face. As far as our offensive, woes, well, I mean, Love was pressured a ton. We had absolute dog crap offensive line yesterday. And I'm not making excuses. This is just what happened. We got Mike Heath. No offense to him, but he's like, our seventh receiver. We got Golden and Savion. We got two rookie receivers starting. So I don't know if it's just Love was just feeling pressured, and so it just felt like a in headlights. I mean, our defense did its job. I mean, they couldn't do nothing. What'd they get out of us? A field goal? Technically, I don't even count the last one because, without the frickin' block kick, they wouldn't have had that. So, it's easy. It's funny how, even media people are like, oh, the Packers. You know what? A week ago, we were the best team in the NFL, and we lose to a team with an amazing defense, and now we're the worst. Okay, I mean, whatever. I mean, obviously, the receiver situation needs help, and I think it will get better before we get, Reed and Watson back. So I mean, it's the best teams can play like crap. The best quarterbacks throw horrible interceptions. That just happens. That's why this game is amazing, and that's why it makes it fun. So I mean, I know Beer Cheese is a little on the ledge. Don't need to be. I mean, this happens. I always remember there was one of those years back in the mid-'90s when we were just steamrolling people. We went to some, 0-something team. I think it was Indy, and I'm like, we got this. And they just beat us 40-3. And, kind of similar. We questioned reality and, thought that God hated. But then we ended up doing pretty good stuff that year. So, I mean, we just got to get off the ledge. Clearly, reasons why, and I think we can fix those reasons. And that's all I got to say. Go Pack, go. Peace out.
Yeah, I mean, it's confusing, and people are looking for answers, and the Packers are going to have to provide those answers. We thought we knew what we had after 2 weeks, and that was probably pretty foolish. Now everybody has flipped completely the opposite direction, and they think what we have after this 1 week, which is something awful, which is also foolish. But the Packers do have to provide some kind of an answer. What exactly is this team? We have a pretty good idea about the defense, because it's been 3 straight weeks for the defensive performance. But we're going to have to figure something out. I mean, there are concerns. There are concerns about even if the offensive line rebounds to what? I mean, it is still hurt. So is it going to be a good offensive line again? Is it going to be a subpar offensive line, a bad offensive line? Are we ever going to be able to run block? Is that ever going to be a thing? The stupid left guard experiment with Banks was always stupid. The guy could never play football very well. For some reason, the Packers decided he was an elite offensive lineman that needed to be paid a bunch of money. I understand it's still early, but I'm just going to go ahead and shoot my shot here because it annoyed me when we did it. It reminds me of the frickin' Billy Turner thing. The guy was never good. The team that had him hated him. And now he's here, got a bunch of money because he's, fat. So it's like, oh, he can run block because he weighs a bunch of pounds. I don't understand. I don't understand that, but whatever. He's our guard now, and so he's going to be doing that thing. We're just gonna have to deal with that. But again, what? So what? So we can't run the ball, and are we just going back to deep shots or? Shut up, dude! I don't care. They upgraded Alexa. No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to my podcast. They upgraded her, and so now it's more like ChatGPT, which is great, but still quite annoying and is giving me a little bit more updates than I'm used to. Although I do appreciate that it seemed to understand what I was saying in context and just shut up and wasn't like, okay, it sounds great. It understands what bro shut up means. I'm in a bit of a mood right now. I don't know. Again, humans, man. Sometimes you're just a little on, sometimes you're a little off. I don't know what you'd call this. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm feeling a little ornery today. It's weird. All right, let's take our final break. We'll come back with Jared the Uber driver.
Howdy, this is Jared, the Uber driver from Texas. All right, so I know the Ravens scored 41 points on the Browns, but were you looking at the drive summaries and stuff? It looked very
Opportunistic? There you go.
Sorry. Opportunistic. One of those words that sometimes I slip up. Anyways, the first drive was only 24 yards, and they got a 43-yard field goal. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Their second drive was 2 plays, 24 yards, a touchdown, on their second scoring drive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, their third one was a 50-yard drive for a field goal, so that's fair enough. Their next touchdown.
It's one of the benefits I have of having a pause button. There's no need for like the long gaps. You know what I mean? Pause it, go find out the answer, unpause, et cetera, et cetera. He doesn't have a pause button. I guess I do, but I don't know when he's going to start talking again.
Down was 4 plays, 5 yards for a touchdown. Their next touchdown was 10 plays, 60 yards. So fair enough. That's legit right there. That's a legit drive. And then Roquan Smith had a 60-plus yard fumble return, so defensive touchdown. And their final touchdown was 3 play, 36 yards. So
2 good drives.
It's a lot of points. One is a defensive score. 2 or 3 of their other touchdowns were 3 of their other touchdowns were short fields. One of their field goals was a short field. So it's misleading score, I guess, is all I'm trying to say. Still 41 points. I get it, but the Browns defense still didn't let up more than 250 overall yards.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Derrick Henry had less yards than Josh Jacobs did with the same or more carries. Anyways.
Well, that's going to be
go.
Yeah, that's going to be just sticking with the theme of pauses. I mean, similar to what I said about the Packers needing to provide answers and whatnot, we'll see about the Browns because they got Detroit coming up. I think that's who it is. And, look, if they can not even necessarily win, and I think that's a stretch, although possible. I would hope that it happens, obviously. But if they can, shut down Detroit and keep it close, if it's a 17-13 win or something like that, there's reason to feel good about our situation and the fact that, okay, the Browns have a really psychotically good defense. If Detroit goes on to score 27 points or something like that, then it's just, it doesn't really mean anything, I understand what you're saying about Baltimore, but like you said, it's still 41 points with several pretty decent drives that we couldn't do. And then if, Detroit does it, then it's like, okay, that's 2 good 3 supposedly playoff teams in a row. 2 of them were able to drive down the field and get points and everything. The other one was not. So it will be kind of a moot point. So, but we got to see. We have to beat Dallas, and we need Cleveland to at least slow down, if not shut down, Detroit for me to feel good about this situation.
Also, this is Jared again. My son, he's doing a lot better.
Good.
I technically know your son's name, which I forget all the time until someone mentions for him to do a ranking thing every draft season.
Oh, yeah.
But my son's name is Rasmus. And yeah, thank you all for y'all's prayers. Still needed, of course, but the outlook's looking better and better every day. So thank y'all very much. Have a great day. Go Pack Go.
Awesome. Well, my family will be praying for Rasmus, that's for sure, and appreciate you keeping us updated on that situation.
Hey, what's up, Ryan? It's Ryan Santos, our list.
What's up, dude?
Just wanted to call, give a couple thoughts. 2 things mostly, just some thoughts on the game, and then a couple thoughts on the game tonight, the Monday Night Football game with Detroit and the Ravens. In regards to the Packers game, kind of like you, I didn't have a dream, but I didn't feel good going into the game. I felt that the hype and the vibe about the Packers was just a little bit higher than it should be. And when the game started, I don't know, I didn't feel like we were going to lose, but I just didn't think that it was going to be this blowout, 6-7 sack game, Joe Flacco fearing for his life game, and we thought if it's one thing that...
I was hoping at least for that. That was the one thing I felt relatively confident in. And the pressure did get there. Again, the guy just was a freak show who decided to be able to handle pressure perfectly fine. Again, our defensive statistics are pretty solid as far as pressures, but it didn't really impact the game as much as it frickin' should have. But that was one thing I felt confident in that obviously was a disappointment, is that we would just destroy Flacco in this game.
History has taught us is that the Packers struggle against good defenses. It doesn't matter how potent the offense is. If we go against a top 5 defense, we don't put a lot of points on the board. We don't necessarily do well. So I was expecting this to be a low-scoring game in which, honestly, I kind of thought Jordan Love would look pretty bad. I thought that this was going to be a game where, we won on the short passes, the run game as the game went on, and just kind of feeding off the mistakes that the Browns might make. And it was quite the opposite. We made a ton of mistakes, and we were looking to throw deep when we could have just opened it up underneath. It's a lot of things we could have done, but, some losses you earn. Some losses, you feel bad about, but you don't feel like you were robbed. And with this game, I don't feel like we were robbed.
No.
I think that we earned the outcome that we got, and I don't feel bad about it. In fact, I'm kind of over it. I'm not going to say it's what the Packers needed, but I think it is something, just tone the whole fan base down. If the players were feeling themselves in the locker room, maybe, they get it together. I know Rasheed Walker said we could go undefeated. Hey, that's great to feel that way. But no, you're not going undefeated. And that's even before the loss. But so that's that. I'm going to call back in because I'm sure I'm almost at the 3-minute mark.
Well, it's especially troubling that it was Rasheed in the offensive line that caused the problem. You know what I mean? It's not like he said it and then the whole team fell apart. It was he said it and then he couldn't back it up. He is the reason that we fell to the Cleveland Browns, not specifically him, and obviously there was a little bit more than the offensive line, but there's no question in the world that had the offensive line played even a mediocre football game, we would have beat the Cleveland Browns. So that makes it a little bit more upsetting. It's beyond just the whole curse thing. It's you go out and run your mouth, and then you can't back it up. That's what's probably the most upsetting to me.
Hey, so I'm watching Monday Night Football, and I'm watching, the game. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not a Detroit Lions fan, and maybe it's because, the Ravens don't have a good defense. I don't know what it is, but when I watch the Lions play, and I'm not counting the game they played us this year, when it's 4th and short, I just feel confident that they're going to get it. I just never feel like they're not going to get it. I'm like, they're going to get it. And in this game, not only were they getting it, right, they have go-to plays, like just plays like I call them the gotta have it play, right? It's 3rd and 2, 4th and 2. You're in the red zone, fourth quarter. You gotta have it, right? You gotta have a couple plays where it's just like you don't want to use it too much because you don't want to put the film out, but you gotta have it. And I just feel like Detroit's got so many of them, and I'm not talking about the super gadget plays, flea flickers. Is that play they ran tonight, the double handoff on was it 4th and 2? It was 4th down in the red zone. They ran a double handoff play where Goff handed it to St. Brown, and he handed it to him with the ball vertical because St. Brown tossed it over to, I believe it was Gibbs or Montgomery, and then they ran in for the touchdown. Both handoffs happened on the right side of the play, or the right side of the line, and it was just beautiful. I mean, it was beautiful design, flawlessly executed, and it was just one of those plays where you just watch and you just go, damn, that is creativity. That is a gotta have it play. And I'm a Matt LaFleur truther. I've never said fire LaFleur. I've never been on that camp. but I don't know if he has that kind of creativity. Like, what are our gotta have it plays? You know,
it's the ones we run that go for 2 yards, and then the fan base gets pissed off because Matt LaFleur gets too cute. I mean, look, it's not even. I don't know that I see those as being like massively creative. I mean, the Lions always get a ton of credit for being super creative, and it's like they're really just running trick plays. It's not like I think every offensive coordinator in the NFL, if you told them to come up with some kind of a trick play, could come up with something that looks similar to that. It's just a question of how often do you run them, and how successful do you expect them to be. Every time Matt LaFleur tries to run a trick play, the fan base, first of all, gets pissed. They freaking hate it with a passion. I don't know. I mean, I would say it's because it never works, but that's not even necessarily true. He doesn't really get any credit when it does work. And then when it doesn't work, they act as though it never works, and you just need to stop doing that, stop trying to be cute. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, the Lions... And again, this is what I said about why I wasn't a huge fan of Ben Johnson. It's not even that I wasn't a big fan of him. It's just I never understood this whole thing about him being this genius creative play caller. I don't know that it's creative. I think I could have come up with some of these plays when I was like 12 years old. It's just a question of who has the team that can execute it. And the Lions have a team, as far as their personnel, that can pull it off. A lot of it has to do with their blocking. Which I think is the Packers' biggest problem. It's, again, people want to give the person running the ball some kind of blame for not being able to execute things. A lot of times it's just not blocked well enough. So, and I think most teams don't run things like that because they don't really expect it to be a high percentage play. And because they're generally not, for whatever reason, they don't usually work very well. But for Detroit, it does work. So, I don't know. I think that Detroit has a team that executes those types of plays well, although they also like to throw touchdown passes to their offensive line, which, again, you could call it creative. I call it stupid, and it almost never works. But I don't know. I think we always want Matt LaFleur to be a genius, and what we mean by that is we want you to do trick plays that work. And I just, I think he does try stuff, and I think the percentage of the time that it works is not as high as we'd like, and so generally speaking as a fan base, we don't like that. I like it, but most of the fan base does not like it, from what I can tell from social media and from this show. The fan base generally does not want him doing that. They just want him to call plays that are successful. Pretty boring, run the ball, get guys wide open and throw the ball to them. Getting the ball to a receiver on a jet sweep. No, don't do that crap. We don't like any of that stuff. If he did a double, could you imagine if he did a double end around or a flea flicker or something and it didn't work? This fan base would lose their freaking mind. Matt LaFleur is trying to be too cute again. He can't just do the simple things and So, and look, I think Matt LaFleur, as I said, the one thing I really like about Matt LaFleur is the fact that on third down, he has an incredible ability to get guys open. I remember with Mike McCarthy, it just felt like third down, nobody was ever open. It was always a matter of Rodgers having to escape the pocket and find something in some tight window, and it was third down was impossible. And for Matt LaFleur, guys are just open all the time, and I'm like, how does that happen? That never happens. Now, again, it didn't happen in this Browns game, but I don't want the Browns game to inform my entire view on Matt LaFleur. So, I mean, I could try to find it. I don't know the answer. Yeah, so actually, if you look at third down conversion rate, the Green Bay Packers are second in the NFL in 2025 in third down conversion rate. Chicago is fourth. Detroit is 16th. So, even this past week apparently was 55.56%, which was third in this week. Detroit was, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So I think the Packers do a good job on third down. They don't do a lot of trick plays to get third downs, and Packer fans don't usually like it when we do, but I think we do a good job of, in a much more boring way, converting third downs.
All right, three calls in a row, and now I know I'm feeling myself too much. I'm just enjoying hearing my own voice. So let me just finish my last sentence. I watched Detroit, and I just feel like I see discipline, I just see aggressiveness, and I see, like, we're not comfortable. No lead is comfortable with them, and I respect that. And I'm not saying the Packers need to go out here and run up the score and put a bunch of plays on tape, and if we're up 3 scores or whatnot, but we need to stay aggressive. Seriously. Yeah, that's it. All right, brother. Let me hear your thoughts. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'd have to. The Packers have not been a team that I guess generally does run up the score. I don't know if that's a philosophy thing or what exactly that is. Detroit is one of those teams. Like I said, Detroit, Buffalo, Kansas City in the past. I don't know if they're that team anymore. It doesn't appear to be a team that has the ability to run up the score. But I don't know. I mean, look, again, I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. Detroit did not look very good week 1 compared to the Green Bay Packers. This past week, when the Packers were at the worst that they've been in a very long time, and Detroit looked very, very good, I don't want to just take a snapshot and be like, see, this is why the Lions are better than the Packers kind of thing. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, I'm going to get out of here. We'll save some of these calls for tomorrow when hopefully I'm a little bit less snippy. My bad, everybody. I just have to get through some of these earlier Monday calls. That was actually our last Monday call because I'm just not in a Monday frame of mind anymore. So, all right. We got to figure out, by the way, I mentioned if you guys had any old songs that you liked or whatever, let me know. Also, if you notice, some of the songs recently have been a little bit different. It usually was like rap, rock, rap, rock. I'm trying to expand my horizons a bit. And so I got a bunch of different music by era, and I've been kind of going through the different eras. So, for example, what were some of the songs I did? And I need to go back a little bit, too, and revisit some of these. I think I did a Nat King Cole song. One of them was a Motown and Soul song, 1960s. I did a Parliament Funkadelic song, 1970s. Al Green, I think. The one from yesterday was supposed to be like a Michael Jackson style song. And then the other one was a Megadeth style song, so 1980s. But bunch of different stuff in here I want to go back and do. But if you have a band or a genre and or a song theme, drop it down and we'll see what we can do. But I think we're going to go back and do a little B.B. King. I love B.B. King. Anyways, you all have a good rest of your night. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Started the season to an oh so bright. Oh yeah, you made me believe we'd be all right. Green and gold dreams in my heart you placed. Then Sunday in Cleveland you fell from grace. Fourth quarter rolling on, I believe. Thought our troubles, baby, they were gone. But then you fumbled dreams that September day. I thought you loved me when you started 2-0. I thought you loved me, really loved me, but then you hurt me so. You broke my heart in Cleveland, broke it bad, like you didn't even care to win. I thought you loved me, Packers, but you let the Browns back in. Oh, you let them in. 14 penalties, couldn't stay in line. False start. McMahon was blocked when we needed him to shine. Parson jumping off sides, giving yards for free. Oh, why? 55-yarder ended always be. You know, BB understands this pain. Yes, I do. When the one you love drives you insane. Football's just like a woman who done you wrong. You give your heart, but she's already gone. I thought you loved me when you beat those Southern teams. I thought you loved me, really loved me, but you crushed all of my dreams. You broke my heart in Cleveland, tore it apart, with 3 minutes left to play. I thought you loved me, Packers, but you threw it all